Hello, my name is Scott Davis. Welcome to New World Birth. This is the weekly neutrino forecast for April 24th to April 30th of 2016. And on April 24th, we have the sun. You can see it denoted here by this black circle with a dot in it. It's in Taurus. It's also in the 27th hexagram. And on the outside of the wheel, we have the top mark for the 27th. Numbered from bottom to top, it goes yang, yin, 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 yang. And then the 27th hexagram is mapped to an opening in an energy channel called a gate. And right here, this is the 27th gate of caring, nourishment, the enhancement of the quality and substance of all activities through caring, located in the sacral center in a tribal energy path in the defense circuit called the Channel of Preservation, a design of custodianship that connects to its harmonic, the 50th gate of values, the cauldron, the value of historical continuity, whose traditional values serve and enrich the present and the future. And I found human design to be amazingly accurate in describing the person that I use it as my primary tool when I provide readings. And we have the following activated gates on April 24th. We have the sun in the 27th gate with the earth in the 28th gate. The north node is in the 47th gate with the south node in the 22nd gate. Mercury's at a standstill or stationed as it turns retrograde on the 28th, and it is in the 23rd gate. Venus is in the 42nd gate. Mars is retrograde in the 9th gate. Jupiter is retrograde in the 64th gate. Saturn is retrograde in the 5th gate. Uranus is also in the 42nd gate with Venus. Neptune is in the 37th gate, and Pluto is retrograde in the 54th gate. So obviously not every gate activation forms a channel, but this information can be very helpful if you know your own human design chart, because some of these transits will form channels with potentials in your personal body graph. And we begin the week with one channel definition due to the transit field, with Jupiter in the 64th gate, the North Node in the 47th gate. We have the Channel of Abstraction, a design of mental activity mixed with clarity until June 7th. The energy of this channel is about creating something new out of something old. It's about abstract thought being brought into collective consciousness through the arts, philosophy, history, and culture. It's really wonderful energy for telling stories about our experiences that inspire others, but brings confusion when used to resolve our own issues. The defined head center could bring pressure to think about things that don't matter, and the defined ajna center can influence people to believe that they're certain of something when they are not. April 24th begins with the sun in the third line of the 27th hexagram. The sun in the 27th-3 is greed, the obsession with having much more than one needs. Exalted here, the psychological manifestation, the obsession and dependency on knowing what is hidden, the secret policeman, the power derived in having more than one needs, whether sexually, mentally, or materially, detriment, mundane and wholly without redeeming value, greed, a lust for inevitable that inevitably cripples, the lust for power to get more than one needs. Then later on the 24th, the sun then moves into the fourth line of the 27th hexagram, and this shift happens at 9:58 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and it's described as generosity, the natural sharing of attained abundance, the magnanimous and qualitative sharing, the gift of rewarding those who are deserving, the power and strength to share generously, detriment, indiscriminate sharing, the potential loss of power and strength through indiscriminate sharing. And then also on the 24th, Neptune moves from the 37 and into the 63rd gate in the hexagram. So this is a significant shift, and Neptune will turn retrograde in June, and it will back into the 37th hexagram again in August 4th of this year. And Neptune brings the energy to seek freedom from the limitations of having only a human experience that is based on ego and mind, and to break through into realizing that we're much more than our bodies and minds. And Neptune dissolves boundaries and feelings of separateness. And this can be positive, as in self-realization and illumination, or negative, as in self-deception and illusion. And with Neptune, we often don't know which is which. Neptune brings the veil, and it doesn't let us see the things, what things are all about. Neptune can trap you if you try to get behind the veil. So this is where we learn to surrender. Operating correctly by following your strategy and authority is surrender. And in the 63rd gate, Neptune brings the veil to doubt after completion. In the spiral of life, all endings are beginnings. And Neptune in the first line of the 63 is composure, exalted, the quality of personality where achievement is accepted with equanimity and where continued development is allowed to take its natural course. Acceptance of achievement, but doubt of whether continued development will take place. Detriment, the tendency in achievement to immediately seek new goals at the risk of destabilizing what has already been accomplished. The pressure in achievement to still doubt one's capabilities and immediately seek new goals. And, this is very interesting timing because we just had Uranus change from the 51 to the 42 last week. So these outer planets that move very slowly and tend to stay in certain hexagrams for a very long time. And as a side on Uranus moving into the 42nd hexagram last week, it's already been a very powerful transit. Almost immediately upon entering the gate of growth that comes from bringing things to a close, I noticed people experiencing unexpected Uranus endings, the 42nd hexagram. Uranus does turn retrograde on July 29 and will return to the 51st gate of shock on December 7th of 2016. On the 25th, the Sun then moves into the 5th line of the 27th hexagram at 9:05 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The Sun in the 27.5 is the executor, the ability to distribute effectively the resources of others. Exalted, either the gifted and principal agent of distribution or the good sense and ability to find one, the power and strength to care for resources of others. Detrimented, a restrictive nature that hampers redistribution or the seeking of advice and assistance. Weakness and the risk of power, risk of power loss, loss of power, restricting caring. Excuse me. On the 26th, the Sun then moves into the 6th line of the 27th hexagram at 8:12 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The Sun in the 27.6 is wariness, a protection against the abuse of generosity. Exalted, a practical and realistic approach to nurturing whose appropriateness is guided by feelings and instinct. The power and strength to be realistic in one's capacities to care and nurture. Detriment, a tendency to over suspiciousness. The power of suspicion in limiting the expression of caring. And then also on the 26th, Venus moves out of the 42nd gate and hexagram, leaving Uranus behind, and it moves into the 3rd gate and hexagram. In human design, Venus is about values, morality, natural law, in which we deal with the other and the consequences of the world around us. And Venus is in the 3rd gate of ordering, difficulty at the beginning. The fundamental challenge of initiation is to transcend confusion and establish order. Venus is in the 1st line of the 3rd hexagram, which is synthesis. Difficulties can only be overcome when all pertinent factors have been analyzed. Exalted, the understanding that confusion is natural and must always exist before clarity can be achieved. The innate knowing that order will emerge from confusion. Detrimented, The reliance on intellect at the expense of intuition can lead to unnecessary frustration, the ability to know that order will emerge, and the drive to find its knowing elsewhere. On the 27th, the sun then moves from the 27th hexagram in gate, and it moves up into the 24th gate in hexagram. All right, and with that, the Earth moves out of the 28, and it moves to the 44. All right, so we have the Earth is in the 44th gate of alertness, coming to meet. The success of any interaction is based on the absence of preconditions. And the shift happens at 7:29 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And then the sun in the 24th gate of rationalizing, returning, the natural and spontaneous process of transformation and renewal. And the sun is exalted in the first line of the 24, which is the sin of omission, transformation that requires retrogressive periods before renewal can take place. Exalted, the will to triumph, and in this case, the faith that the ends justify the means. Inspiration that demands a reassessment of past thinking before a rational concept can be established. So as we move from the 27 to the 24, we get into the gate of rationalizing, return. This is an individual consciousness center gate that points to the 61st gate of inner truth in the head center. This channels the inspiration to return to our own truth. And inner truth means only our truth. If we express it to someone else, it might not be their truth. And truth, after all, is subjective. Like beauty, it's in the eye of the beholder. And I think if you're going to express our inner truth, it needs to have a practical application to really be embraced by others. This is a very loud acoustic gate of rationalizing, going over a concept again and again and again. This being an ajna center gate, there is absolutely no certainty about truth. And when we add in the polarity, the 44th gate of alertness, with the possibility of material success, the possibility to transmit, the possibility for well-being, the possibility of being aware of being manipulated. I mean, this is a splenic gate, and so it's about the realization connected to the form. So the return to inner truth needs to be needs to support the form to be of value to the tribe. The 24th hexagram is the final gate in the quarter of initiation, purpose fulfilled through mind. Return brings a mental dimension to the cross of the four ways. And of course, no one has mind as an inner authority. Human design gives us each our own individual strategy and authority to operate correctly as ourselves, which takes away the mind as a power for self-guidance, which in turn then empowers the mind to be a wonderful tool for what it's meant to be, as a gift to others and not for our own self-determination. Without this knowledge, the 24 will continue to question repeatedly. And if you have the 24 gate in your design, following your strategy and authority can bring you, among other things, peace of mind. On the 28th, the sun then moves into the second line of the 24th gate in hexagram at 6:29 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The sun in the 24-2 is described as recognition, exalted the proper and spontaneous adaptation to new forms, the potential gift of conceptualizing spontaneously. Detrimented, the vanity to see transformation as a personal achievement rather than a socially supported or natural phenomena. The mental vanity that the gift of conceptualizing spontaneously can produce. On the 29th, the sun then moves into the third line of the 24th hexagram at 5:39 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The sun in the 24-3 is the addict, the powerful attraction of regressive forms, exalted, the ultimate, though difficult, triumph over regression. The difficult but possible task of overcoming irrationality. Detriment, addiction, and regression legitimized by success. Intentionally maintained and legitimized by success. Irrationality, maintained and legitimized by success. And then the 30th, the sun then moves into the fourth line of the 24th hexagram at 4:49 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, where it is described as the hermit, transformation that can only take place in isolation, exalted the discipline and focus that assures renewal. Aloneness enriches the potential for rational thought. Detrimented, the tendency in isolation to live in a fantasy world. Aloneness encourages the potential of illusion and delusion. Anyway, thank you for checking out New World Birth. The next segment of the weekly neutrino forecast will be for May 1st of 2016 and should be available on April 30th, when we'll continue to look at the influence of the heavenly bodies as they transit the sky and the hexagrams of the I Ching. You can check us out on Facebook, Blogger, and YouTube, and I encourage you to share this information as videos or as text as widely as you choose, and invite you to contact me at newworldbirth@yahoo.com if you have any questions or you wish to schedule a reading. And if you've been thinking about getting a reading, please contact me. I would love to provide you a reading during these uncertain times. You can, you'll need to be able to either call me in Maine in the USA, or we can connect with Skype to receive your reading. We're also accepting donations to keep these reports freely available. And as always, I am blessed that you've taken the time to connect with my passion for these ancient mysteries, their synthesis and application to our journey during this incarnation. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste, in Lakesh, and as Ra would say, love yourself. Anyway, all my best to you. Look forward to connecting with you in the future.